The changes in Gibbs energy that occur when 1 mole of oxygen is used may be plotted against the temperature of metals to form their oxides. If you have the NCERT book, you can take page number 155 and 155 figure 6.4. The diagram is there. So you can see that this is simply a diagram, graphical representation, where change in free energy plotted on y-axis and temperature in Kelvin plotted on x-axis. Okay, so this is the first thing you have to understand. The changes in Gibbs free energy. Changes in Gibbs free energy, we can simply represent it as delta G. Okay, that you can keep it in a bracket there along with the Gibbs energy. You can write changes in Gibbs energy, that is delta G. Okay, that occur when 1 mole of oxygen is used may be plotted against temperature. 1 mole of oxygen is used. So, and it is plotted against temperature of temperature. Temperature is expressed in Kelvin and it is on x-axis of metals to form their oxide. So, simple way we can split the sentence into two. First of all, when 1 mole of oxygen is used for oxidation of metal to form their corresponding oxide. 1 mole. So remember that it is restricted to 1 mole. Second is, this is a graphical representation in which change in free energy plotted against temperature. And change in free energy expressed in kilojoule per mole and temperature expressed in Kelvin. So this is the definition part. I hope it is clear to you. Now next sentence is, what is the utility of Elingham diagram in this chapter? It helps us in predicting the feasibility of thermal reduction of an ore. Feasibility means whether the reaction is possible at the given temperature or not. Thermal reduction means a reduction at a particular temperature. Thermo is related to temperature. Reduction means a process of removal of oxygen. So it helps in predicting feasibility of thermal reduction of an ore. So fourth stage of the extraction of metal is conversion of metal oxide into crude metal. So conversion of metal oxide into crude metal, the process takes place is called a reduction. And it is normally associated with the temperature. Heat energy is required. That's why. The criteria of feasibility is that at a given temperature, delta RG, R stands for reaction and delta G stands for change in free energy. For the reaction must be negative. Maybe this topic we have discussed earlier also. This is one of the conditions for a reaction to be possible. What is that condition? Delta G must be negative. Then only the reaction will be possible. So I think you have written these points, Hardik.
Yes, ma'am.
Written. Okay. Now let us go to the next slide. Here we will discuss what are the features of Elingham diagram. Features. So what all points I am presenting here, you try to note it down, because Elingham diagram is not a complicated one. It is simple. So the points which we have discussed in the class, only you have to focus on that. Okay. So first feature is that the graphs for the metal to metal oxide. So that means this graph is especially for particular reaction where metal gets converted into its oxide form. How metal converted into metal oxide? By the reaction with the oxygen. So the graphs for the metal to metal oxide, all slopes are in upward direction. You can see the graph. If you have the book, and last class we have seen it on the screen even, you can see that most of the cases case, the graph, the slope is moving upwards because the change in Gibbs free energy becomes less negative with increase in temperature. Look at the temperature. Temperature, when we moving from left to right, the temperature goes on increasing. But when we focus on change in free energy, first value is minus 1200. Minus. Minus means the value is negative. That is related to a spontaneous process. So this is the first point you have to remember. Graphs for the metal to metal oxide, all slopes are upwards, means the change in Gibbs free energy becomes less negative with increase in temperature. Less negative means when we are moving up, the value become less negative. You can see that 1200, then when we are moving up, it become minus 100. Okay. Now, each dot follows a straight line unless there is some change in phase. You can see that most of the case, the lines are moving up, and if until and unless if there is any change in the phase, phase here stands for change in physical state. Physical state means some cases solid converted into liquid, or liquid converted into gas. This is the meaning of the term some changes in phase. If there is any change in phase, that results in large change in entropy and hence the change in slope of line. So, understood? Hence, there is a change in slope line. Now, I will explain how the entropy becomes changed. So, when suppose we consider solid, when solid converted into liquid, you know that in solid, the particles are well arranged. The scope of disorder is less. So that means entropy is least for a solid. When this solid converted into liquid, okay, so liquid, you know that the particles are loosely packed as compared to solid. So the entropy goes on increasing. So when we compare a solid and liquid, entropy is more for liquid. Now, second phase change is liquid to gas. So gas, you know that the most important phase where the entropy maximum. Entropy means disorder. Change in entropy is maximum for gas. So in this way, normally, if there is any change in phase takes place, like solid to liquid or liquid to gas, that results a large change in entropy, and hence there is a change in slope of line. Change in slope of line. Look at that. The graph keep on changes. Okay. Now I think this is also noted. Now we can come to the last feature, third feature. When the temperature is increased a point, this is very important because conceptual question may coming on the basis of this last point. When the temperature is increased a point will be reached when the line crosses delta G equal to 0. So you can look at the graph, look at that Elinghart diagram. In some cases, there is crossing of lines takes place. Look at one example. Aluminium reacts with oxygen forming aluminium oxide. Look at that line. And at the same time, below that, magnesium react with oxygen forming magnesium oxide. Second line, after a period of time, it changes its direction. It goes on increasing. So these two lines crosses. This type of crossing is possible in Elinghart diagram. So this particular temperature where crossing takes place, it is significant. Significant in the sense below this temperature, standard standard free energy change. Standard, it should be mentioned delta G naught. You know that when we make PowerPoint presentation, that subscript and superscript is very difficult to introduce. So that's why this time I have written it as standard delta G, but it is denoted as delta G naught. Naught will be in the superscript of the oxide is negative. Below this temperature, delta G naught will be negative and the oxide is stable. Very important point, underline that in your copy. Below this temperature, delta G naught of the oxide is negative and hence the oxide is stable. Second, above this temperature, delta G naught of the oxide is positive and hence the oxide become unstable and decomposes or needs decomposes means what? Oxide gets decomposes means it decomposes into metal and oxygen. Okay, so last two sentences are very important in this particular slide. Okay, so this is very important. So I will give one example. You can look at magnesium to magnesium oxide. You can look at that magnesium to magnesium oxide. Look at the temperature. It is near about 1120 degrees Celsius. There is crossing takes place. So there is crossing takes place and you can look at before crossing, there is a twist. You can look at that particular, it is not mentioned properly, but here turning point is, you can mark it on your book. You can see that the line is moving, then at a particular moment, it goes moving straightly. So that temperature approximately as 1120 degrees Celsius. Okay. And similarly, zinc to zinc oxide, you can look at that. In that case also, there is an increase after a period. Okay, so that means here there is a phase transition takes place. So in this case, slope will be, here the slope will be changing and at that particular temperature, you can mention that it is approximately 790 degrees Celsius. So that means that particular temperature zinc undergo melting. Melting means what? Solid gets converted into liquid form. Okay, so this is the important part that you have to take care. Then next point is application of Elingham diagram. What are the applications? First of all, very important, it helps to predict suitable reducing agent for metal oxide during the extraction of metal. That's why we are discussing this Elingham diagram in this chapter. Okay, this is the important point. It helps to predict suitable reducing agent. So I will recall one example. Carbon can be used as a reducing agent in the form of coke. At the same time, one of the oxide of carbon, that is carbon monoxide, it can be also function as a reducing agent in some cases. So now the question is, how can we decide at what extent, to which context carbon function as reducing agent, which context carbon monoxide function as reducing agent. So this can be rectified with the help of Elingham diagram. So explanation is also given in, so you can read it. A metal can reduce oxides of other metals like chromium oxide can be reduced by aluminum. Okay, so and what is the condition? Look at the condition. A metal can reduce oxides of other metals which lie above it in the Elingham diagram, which lie above. So you can look at that Elingham diagram. There you can see that only the condition is the position of that metal oxide, that graph line will be above that particular metal oxide. Because in such a process, delta G become negative by an amount equal to the difference between the two graphs at the particular temperature. This explanation no need to remember, but the first part is important. Which part? First two sentences are important. It helps to predict suitable reducing agent for metal oxide during the extraction of metal. First point. Second is a metal can reduce oxides of other metals which lie above it in the Elingham diagram. I will bring some example also. So look at the next example. Look at the example. This is the example for that application. Look at that. Aluminium reduces ferrous oxide, chromium oxide, nickel oxide, etc. So look at that oxide of ferrous. It is ferrous because in the case of iron, two oxides are possible. Mainly two oxides are possible. One is ferrous oxide, another is ferric oxide. So here It is ferrous oxide and its formula is FeO. Okay. Chromium oxide Cr2O3, nickel oxide NiO. So aluminum is capable of reducing all these oxides, but look at the position of aluminum in the diagram. Look at the position. Second lower one. See, first last one is magnesium. Above that, aluminum is there. So, and the other metals are there above aluminum in the graph. Okay. So, rest of the metals are not here in this. Okay. But it does not reduce magnesium oxide at a temperature below 1350 degrees Celsius. This is the point to be noted. Aluminum does not reduce magnesium oxide. Why? The reason is already there, because the position of magnesium is below aluminum. Okay, that is one reason. And it is, see, look at the temperature, it is very, very high. The temperature where the two lines crosses, look at that, and there it is mentioned as the point as A. Two lines crosses. So it is near about 1350 degrees Celsius. So this is one example related to application. Next point is carbon and carbon monoxide function as reducing agents. On the basis of Elingham diagram, the two lines correspond to the formation of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide crosses at 710 degrees Celsius. That is also visible in the diagram. You can look at the diagram. These are some applications on the basis of Elingham diagram. Okay, you can look at the temperature where these two lines, one is related to carbon dioxide, another is related to carbon monoxide. So these two lines crosses at 710 degrees Celsius. Okay. Below this temperature, formation of carbon monoxide is more favorable, while above this temperature, formation of carbon, above this formation of, okay, wait. Formation of carbon monoxide is more favorable, while above this temperature, below this temperature, means below which temperature? 710 degrees Celsius. Formation of carbon monoxide is more favorable, while above this temperature, formation of carbon dioxide is more favorable. CO2 I have already mentioned there, but it is not visible. That's why it is not seen here. You can write it down. Make the correction in that point. We can write that below 710 degrees Celsius, formation of carbon dioxide. So there it is carbon dioxide. Look at that. So in this point, I'll show the cursor. There you can make the change. Okay. In this case, below this temperature, formation of, here you can mention carbon dioxide. It is not carbon monoxide here. Have you made the correction? Carbon dioxide it is. And is more favorable, while above this temperature, formation of carbon monoxide is more favorable. The first one is that of carbon dioxide, and second one is carbon monoxide. Is it clear, Hardik?
Yes,
Hardik?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Alima, is it clear? Done the correction?
Yes,
Alima?
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Sriyesh? Okay. Sriyesh, is it
Yes, ma'am.
correct? Okay. Anmeri? Corrected?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. First one is carbon dioxide and second one is carbon monoxide. Sorry for the mistake. Okay. So this conclusion is very important. So at high temperature, carbon function as reducing agent. Underline this. At high temperature, carbon function as reducing agent. At again there is a problem. At high temperature, carbon function as reducing agent. My God. Again, at high temperature, carbon function as a reducing agent, while at lower temperature, here you mention lower. Look at this. Here you can mention lower. High instead of that, here it is lower. At lower temperature, make the correction here, lower. At lower temperature, carbon monoxide is function as reducing agent. Okay. I have rectified at the last also. Carbon may function as reducing agent at high temperature, but there maybe by mistake it is happened like that. At low temperature, carbon monoxide. Hardik, ये correction हो गया? Hardik?
Yes, ma'am. Bas 1 second.
निवेदिता?
हाँ मैम, हो गया.
हो गया. निवेदिता? ये correction हो गया? Instead of high, here you have mentioned at a low temperature. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yash?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, done. Okay. Ayush?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Nandini? Done.
Yes, ma'am.
Mohammed? I think Mohammed is not there. Okay. Anyway. So let us continue. Carbon may function as reducing agent at high temperature, but it demands at high temperature, which is uneconomic. What do you mean by uneconomic? Uneconomic means expense is more. So it is costly. So that's why technically or technologically it is very difficult because it requires high temperature. You can imagine that 1350 degrees Celsius, very high. So that's why it is not possible. Now it has some limitation. Note down the point in simple way. These conclusions are based on assumption that reactants and products are in equilibrium, which is often not true. Only the reaction must be in equilibrium state. So only under the assumption that reactant products are in equilibrium. So this is not true in every case. So that's why this is considered as a limitation. And second limitation is also very important. These conclusions are derived on the basis of thermodynamical concept. Here we are keep on giving stress on change in free energy, type of energy, enthalpy, entropy. So these all are thermodynamical concepts. But here in nowhere else it is mentioned. What about the rate? Which type of reaction? Is it a fast reaction? Is it a slow reaction? It is medium rate reaction. It is not mentioned. So that means kinetics of the reaction is not considered in this concept. So we can predict only the feasibility of the reaction, but cannot predict. Here it is predict, but cannot predict. Predict. But we can't predict rate of the reaction. Predict. Here, spelling error. Predict rate of the reaction. So these are the limitations. Now, few questions are also there on the basis of this. You can note down this question. I will discuss the answer and I will give it in PDF file to you. Okay. So you write the question. All the 3 questions try to write. I will give time. First one, although thermodynamically feasible, in practice, magnesium is not used for the reduction of alumina in the metallurgy of alumina. Question. These are the 3. Now you write the question, okay, and try to find out the answer. Try to, on the basis of this topic only. So, if you could not find out the answer, I will give the answer in proper way. Okay, I will send PDF to you. Answer will discuss in the class, in the next class. First, I will give the chance to you. You try to find out. Okay, but try to write the question now. Last question, you can see that we have already discussed. Why is the reduction of metal oxide easier if the metal formed is in liquid state at the temperature of reduction? Okay. If you have completed the question part, so tell me, Hardik.
मैं बस लास्ट वाला लिख रहा हूँ.
हाँ, do it quickly.
Yes, ma'am, हो गया.
Okay. So now we will switch on the next class, next topic. So I will stop sharing now. So let us move to the next one. Okay. Now let us come to the next one. Write the topic extraction of iron. Extraction of iron, very, very important. Hardik, screen visible. Hardik,
No, ma'am.
Hardik,
No, ma'am.
स्क्रीन दिख रहे हैं?
No, ma'am, not yet.
कुछ भी नहीं दिख, अभी क्या दिख रहे हो?
हाँ, अब दिख गया.
Not yet.
Yes, ma'am, my
दिख
YouTube
रहे?
video, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
अच्छा, दिख रहे हो ना?
Yes, ma'am.
अच्छा, ठीक है. अब मैं इसको, हाँ, ठीक है.
Blast furnace. At the end of this module, you will be able to explain the process of extraction of iron, list and describe the various parts of a blast furnace. Did you know the world's first ever metal bridge to be built was the Iron Bridge? It spans the River Severn in Shropshire, England. That the tower in Paris is made of more than 8,000 pieces of iron. Every day we come across innumerable objects, from nails, skyscrapers to bridges.
Hardik, is it audible? Hardik?
Yes, ma'am, it
Hardik?
is audible, but it is laggy.
Little bit, you
Ma'am,
know?
audible है.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Audible, little bit disturbance is there. Okay. Now for every student, remember one thing. Whatever descriptions are given in this particular video, you try to note it down. Okay. And in between, I will pause in some areas also. You try to note it down. So it is very important.
Which are made of iron or have iron as an essential. Hematite and magnetite are the main ores of iron.
So you can note it down first. Ores of iron are hematite. Spelling, there is a change. Hematite, H-A-E-M-A-T-I-T-E. Okay. Magnetite, goethite, and limonite. Out of this, these first two are important. Hematite formula is Fe2O3. Magnetite formula is Fe3O4. Okay.
Ores are obtained from the earth by mining, and iron is extracted from.
Doubt. Okay. Who has doubt?
Shreyash. मैं
Shreyash. Ask.
मैम फिर इसमें से मैम फिर वो साइडराइट क्या होता है?
Siderite. Siderite is carbonate ore. It is a combination of two different ores, different compounds of siderite.
तो फिर मैं वो आयरन का ओर नहीं बोल सकते थे?
I think it is ore, but the problem is that it's considered as an ore. But you know, two conditions are there. Which are the conditions? It is carbonate. You know, it is carbonate ore. So carbonate, the expenditure is high. But from the oxide ore, the expenditure is less. The concept of ore is that ore is a mineral from which the metal can extract it economically and conveniently. So from the carbonate ore, it is very difficult to prepare iron. So that's why it is not considered as a particular ore. They are considered, but practically they are not used for the extraction of iron. Okay, siderite is iron carbonate, FeCO3. Okay, got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Shreyash? Okay.
Them. Have you ever wondered how iron is extracted from ore? Iron is extracted from its ores in a blast furnace. What is a blast furnace? How is iron extracted using a blast furnace? Come, let us find out. Let us take a look at the different parts of a blast furnace and study their functions. The blast furnace is a huge furnace used to extract metals from their compounds using a suitable reducing agent. It is a tall chimney-like structure about 30 to 40 meters tall and about 10 meters wide at the base. It is narrow at the top, increasing in diameter downward, but narrowing again near the bottom. The bottom portion is called the hearth. It is lined with fire-resistant bricks. At the top of the furnace is a double cup and cone arrangement. This arrangement is used for the introduction of the charge, which is a mixture of coke.
This you can mention in your copy. Here we are arranging a charge. Charge means fuel for the process. So here in the process of extraction of iron, the charge is a mixture of three substances. Which are they? Coke, concentrated iron ore, and limestone. So in the same video, role of all the three are well explained. So let us see. Okay, you can note it down. Coke, concentrated iron ore, and limestone.
Concentrated iron ore and limestone. The furnace has three outlets: an exhaust gas outlet at the top for the hot waste gases, and two outlets at the base for discharging molten metal and slag. The gas discharged from the gas outlet is passed through a dust catcher to remove suspended particles and then fed to the stoves to heat the air that is blown into the furnace. At the bottom of the furnace, there are two nozzles called spheres. The furnace. This process is called blasting, and that is why the furnace is known as a blast furnace. Extraction of iron from blast furnace. At the end of this module, you will be able to describe the working of a blast furnace. Let us now find out how iron is extracted from its ore in the blast furnace. Before the ore can go into the furnace, it has to undergo certain preliminary treatment, like concentration or dressing, and roasting or cancellation.
So you can note down these points. Concentration or dressing. Dressing is another term of concentration of the ore. Second process is roasting or calcination. It depends. Some cases we are using roasting. Like sulfide ores, we are using roasting. And in the case of carbonate ore, we are using calcination. Okay. So otherwise also roasting has a meaning like this. Heating the ore at a high temperature. Okay.
Iron ore mined from the Earth's crust contains impurities such as sand, rocky materials, limestone, etc. The impurities are collectively known as gangue. The gangue must be removed before the metal can be extracted. The process by which impurities are removed from the ores is known as concentration or enrichment. To begin with, the ore is crushed into small pieces in a crusher. The crushed ore is then powdered in a grinder or pulverizer. The powdered ore is then washed in a current of water to remove impurities. The heavier ore particles fall down while the lighter impurities are washed away with the water. The concentrated ore is then...
Anybody can say that the name of concentration of ore used in this case, which method that we have learned, which method employed in this
Hydraulic
case?
washing.
Very good, Hardik. It is hydraulic washing, where the ore is heavier and the impurities are lighter.
And subjected to a process known as calcination.
Second page is concentrated ore is subjected to a process known as calcination. Mention this point in your copy. Concentrated ore is subjected to a process known as calcination.
It's the present reverberatory furnace.
So you can mention the name of the furnace. That is important. This is the particular furnace where calcination can be taking place. Reverberatory furnace. The ore is heated. Mention point. Ore is heated strongly in presence of air in a reverberatory furnace.
Besides converting the non-oxide compounds in the ore to the oxide, roasting helps in removing moisture and organic impurities such as carbon and sulfur are converted to their volatile oxides, which escape. In addition, ferrous oxide is oxide. Let us now see how iron is from roasted iron ore. The process of extraction of iron from its ore is known as smelting.
This point is also important. The process of extraction of iron from its ore is called smelting. Smelting is where carbon is used as a reducing agent.
The roasted ore is mixed with coke and limestone. What role?
So that we can write roasted ore is calcined, roasted or calcined ore is mixed with coke and limestone. Now, what is the role of coke and
Do
limestone?
coke and limestone play? Coke functions as the fuel, at the same time gets converted to carbon.
Not at the point. Coke function as well, and at the same time gets converted into carbon monoxide required for the reduction of the ore. Coke function as the fuel and at the same time gets converted to carbon monoxide, which is required for the reduction of the ore. Written, Hardik?
Yes, ma'am.
Required for the reduction of the ore. The limestone acts as a flux.
So then function of limestone is, it is function as a flux. Limestone is a basic flux because the impurity present along with the iron ore is acidic, like sand, SiO2. It is acidic. So in order to remove an acidic impurity, we need to add a basic flux.
A flux is a chemical substance which combines with impurities and forms a fusible slag. The charge is brought by trolleys or skip cars over a conveyor system and introduced into the blast furnace through the cup and cone. Simultaneously, a blast of hot air is blown into the furnace through the tweezers at the base of the furnace. The hot air causes the coke in the lower regions of the furnace to burn, producing carbon dioxide and a large amount of heat. This region is called the zone of combustion, as the combustion of coke takes place here.
So this you have to note down. First region is called the zone of combustion, where combustion of carbon takes place. Carbon undergoes combustion, forming carbon dioxide. Zone of combustion. C plus O2 giving CO2 with a large amount of energy, heat energy.
The temperature in this region reaches around 2000 degrees Celsius.
Mention this temperature in brackets. Zone of combustion, the temperature maintained to be 2000 degrees Celsius. And it is at the bottom of blast furnace.
The carbon dioxide rises and reacts with the unburnt coke to form carbon monoxide. At the same time, the heat causes the limestone present in the charge to decompose and form quicklime and carbon dioxide. The reduction of...
So, one more reaction takes place simultaneously. Limestone undergo thermal decomposition, forming calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. CaCO3 decomposes to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide.
Of carbon dioxide and the decomposition of limestone are endothermic reactions. Owing to this, the temperature of this region falls to about 1000 degrees Celsius. Calcium oxide or quicklime fuses with impurities such as silicon dioxide.
Note down this equation. CaO plus SiO2. In bracket, you can write SiO2 is a impurity, forming calcium silicate. Calcium silicate is a slag. And SiO2 is gangue. CaO plus SiO2 giving CaSiO.
To form liquid calcium silicate or molten slag. The slag flows to the bottom of the furnace and floats on top of the molten iron. This is tapped periodically into ladles for disposal. Since molten slag is produced in this middle region, this region is called the zone of fusion.
So the next region is zone of fusion. Zone of fusion.
The upper region of the furnace is around 100 to 700 degrees Celsius.
In this temperature also 400 to 700 degrees Celsius.
In this region, the descending charge is exposed to the carbon streaming up from the lower blast furnace. Carbon monoxide reduces ferric oxide to
Note down the equation. 2, 3 Fe plus 3CO. Fe2O3 plus 3CO giving 2Fe plus 3CO2.
the iron so produced is a spongy porous solid. As reduction of iron oxide takes place in this region is called zone of.
This is the last zone of reduction.
Iron descends down through the hotter regions of the. It melts. Lower where the temperature is high, any unreduced core is reduced directly by carbon.
So write this equation also. One more way reduction takes place where carbon functions as a reducing agent. Write the equation Fe2O3 plus 3C giving 2Fe plus 3CO. Fe2O3 plus 3C giving 2Fe plus 3CO.
The molten iron collects at the bottom of the furnace and is tapped periodically. It is poured into sand molds and allowed to cool and solidify. The iron obtained from a blast furnace is called iron. Note, the term pig iron when fed in mold from the arrangement like a sow its piglets, with runner being the sow and the molds the piglets. The solid iron ingot removed from the molds were therefore called pigs. The unused carbon monoxide along with.
So this is all about extraction of iron. So this is the end of this video. So now the time is 2:49. So hardly MCQ is only of 5 minutes. Okay. Now directly we'll go to the test. Hardly 5 minutes test it is. Okay. Come to the video, all of you. So I'll try to send the link through the chat box. I'm sending. Okay. Open the link and try to answer and look at the time. Response I will not show to anyone. Okay. So now you start doing. And look at the time. It's very important. This is the way you can assess yourself. Okay.